Now, I hate to be the one to break it to you. I really do. But there's no easy way to do this. We're going to have to go the hard way. I wish that there was a plasterboard fixing that we could just stick in the wall and that will hold these cupboards up. But I felt the weight of these cupboards. They're bloody heavy. And that's without food in them. Or whatever you put in a cupboard. So, this is what we've got to do. We've got to smash the shit out of this wall while the customer isn't here. She specifically asked me to do this while she was at work because she couldn't bear to see her plasterboard, her freshly plastered walls be destroyed in this way. So, what you got to do is you got to work out whereabouts you want this noggin to go in to take your cupboard. So work out where your fixings are going to go. Get your multi-tool and very gently chop away. So mark out with a level where you want. Make sure that the hole that you make is wide enough so you can get your 4x2 in there. But you got to be so careful because in these plasterboard walls there's going to be dangling wires in there. So you don't want to go whamming that multi-tool blade all the way in willy-nilly. You want to cut out a little section, knock it away, have a little feel, do a little bit more, check it's safe, do a little bit more, like that. Just got to keep going. Sometimes you got to have a good look in there as well. So just keep whizzing away. Take your time with this. Because the last thing you want to do is just get carried away and end up whizzing where you can't see. End up whizzing a pipe or a wire or something like that. Now this whole section is going to be behind the units when I'm finished. So I've managed to get to the studs so I can just knock some noggins in between the studs. Now this last one, the end of the run of the cupboard ends at a certain point, but we need to get a noggin in there. I cannot get to the other stud because if I cut all the way to the other stud, when the cupboards go up, you'll see the repair in the wall. I mean, you could go all the way up to the other stud, stick the noggin in, stick the plasterboard on top, and then easy fill it. But in this instance, she did not want me to do that, and I completely understand because her walls have been plastered, they're beautiful. So in this end one, instead of cutting all the way to the other stud, I've just cut it out sort of like a deeper hole so that I can try and get my drill in there and fix this noggin any which way that I can. I'm going to get slated for this, but there's not much I can do about it right now. No circular saw, going old school. We got the hand saw again. Let's just whack that in there. But I couldn't do it. I just couldn't get it in. The hole that I'd made isn't long enough to get that length piece of timber in. So I've got to adapt it. I decide to take a corner off. If I take a 45 off this, that might just give me the space that I need to get that in that hole wedged in between those studs. So let me just wham that off. See what I mean? Just take the corner off. Hopefully I can get it in now. And guess what? I'm contending with some wires in there as well. There's some wires coming through the wall that I've got to get in front of. Still can't do it. Plan B. And I'm just checking inside the other cupboard, the other side of the wall, to make sure I didn't damage anything. Glad I didn't, So I'm going to whittle a little bit off with the electric plane. That should do it. See that shape a little bit? See that? Let's give that a go. Stick it in the hole. I'll try and force it in there a little bit. Nope, still didn't work. Take a little bit more off. Try again, force it in there. If at first you don't succeed, try, and try again. So it looked like I get it in this time. But something's not quite right, and I can't remember what it was. Anyway, out it come. Have to whittle something. And back in we go. This time it's in there for good. Now I managed to get a fixing in this one by knocking it all the way up to the head plate of the stud work. Now, you've just got to do whatever you can do. Little celebration there, because I'm pleased, because it's taken a while. I decided to fix through the stud on this end, get a nice strong fixing. And my plan was to get the drill under that noggin, in that hole, and get it sort of like tosh a screw into the other stud. But I just can't do it. I can't actually get the drill in there. The battery's too fat. So I end up toshing screws up diagonally through that noggin piece I just put in into the head plate of the stud wall. I play around with this a little bit, try and get it in the right position, and I think I toshed about 3 screws up into that. Now, ideally, I would have liked to have screwed it into the other stud, but I'll tell you something, that is certainly stronger than any plasterboard fixing that you're going to get. Alright, so I'm happy with that. Final screw or two. Right. So, what am I doing now? I'm not sure. Measure that bit of wood. Random. Well, I'm not sure what to do, so I'll do something easy instead. Have a little bit of a tidy up. A little bit of a hoover. I must have got that from my mum. If you're not sure what to do, hoover up. Right, so anyway, here goes nothing. Now this bit is a little more easy, I would say. Just cut the noggins to fit in between the studs. Where you can, fix through the stud and into the noggin. And where you can't, just tosh through the noggin and into the stud. I'm fixing them up with 100mm screws. See here, a little trick here. I've knocked it in a little bit too far, so I screw in a little screw, and then I can get the claw of the hammer behind that screw. Here you go, I'm whipping it out now. Well, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I think I tightened it up a little bit there. Either way, when you knock something in too far, just remember you can screw a little screw into it and lever it back with the claw of a hammer. Right, so that's one of those easy ones done. Let's do the middle easy one. Knock that in there. I assume that I fixed it. Even though we didn't see. Hopefully, I just didn't record that bit. Get some fixings in that last one. Now I believe that big hole on the left, as you can see, kind of needs something around the perimeter of it to pick up the plasterboard. So I think about it for a little while, and then I bite the bullet. I'm going to do it. So I get a fairly substantial bit of timber, cut it to length, put it in the hood, and then tosh one end into the stud. Then the other end, I've cut it a little bit longer than the hole, so I can just screw some screws through the plasterboard and into that. Now that's created a section that I can nail plasterboard over. The plasterboard that I found that was on site was only 9mm thick. I got to make up 15mm because I got 12.5mm plasterboard already on, and about 3mm, 2.5 to 3mm plaster. So I've got to make 15mm up. So I use I believe that is a 6mm piece of MDF. Whack that up there. Bish bash bosh. And then on top of that, I want to stick a piece of plasterboard. And the plasterboard that the customer had spare was 9.5mm plasterboard. Now I understand that this isn't really a quick fix to hang in cupboards on plasterboard walls, but this is probably, in this instance, the only way I would have been happy hanging those units on that wall. Bear in mind, those units are, I can't remember how tall they are. Best part of 900 tall. The doors on the front, I believe, are 22mm MDF, weigh a ton. I don't know how much each of those cupboards weighs, but I would say they must be 20 kilos each. I don't know. But either way, when you do this, they're not going anywhere. This is about as strong as you can make it. Could say it's over the top, but I think it's necessary. If you just imagine for a moment one of those coming down, that would be horrendous, especially when chances are the customer's probably going to have a granite worktop or something like that, or you've got a little kid hanging on a door or something. You know what they're like. They're silly, aren't they, kids? And at the very least, if that was done with a plasterboard fixing, I believe that over time it would gradually pull away from the wall and your end panels would look dog shit. So this is the best way to do it. So you got your wood in the wall, you now got your brackets up, take the doors off the unit so it doesn't weigh a metric ton. Clear a space. Get it up there. Like that. Nice, steady, make sure it's on. Do your adjustments with the brackets. On to number 2. Brackets just magically appeared on the wall. Line them up. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. You want these level at the front, level at the back. Level in upright. Every which way level. And then get those bad boys screwed together. And there we have it. We've got some wall units on the wall Safe as houses. They're not going anywhere. Job done. Walk away.